Mergerfilers.com is the place to keep you up to date about merger regulations and merger decisions worldwide. Mergerfilers.com has been designed for the needs of competition lawyers and others involved in mergers and acquisitions. And our decision database is a great source of business intelligence for anyone else who wants insight in a particular industry. The content is provided by national experts from top law firms around the world. They make sure that information is always up to date. Merger regulations are different for each country, but usually you're not allowed to complete a transaction involving change of control of a business before the transaction has been approved by the competition authority. Sometimes you will need approval from competition authorities in a number of countries, or even from the European Union. If you go ahead with a transaction without the necessary approvals, the transaction may be invalid and heavy fines can be imposed. Merger regulations are constantly developing, and if you rely on a printed publication or a website that only updates information once a year, naturally you risk that regulations have changed since the publication date. Mergerfilers.com will keep you up to date and help you navigate safely when you are involved in transactions that could require merger filing. In fact, Merger Filers not only provides up-to-date information, it even alerts you on proposed changes of regulations so that you can take these into account if you are involved in a transaction with a completion date a couple of months in the future. First, let's look at the Merger Filing Guide. You can access it here or in the top bar here. Let's say I'm interested in merger regulations in Argentina and Brazil. Then I simply find Argentina and Brazil in the menu under South America, and I tick off the boxes. I can then either include more jurisdictions, or I can go ahead and choose which topics that I'm interested in. As I want to know everything about merger control in Argentina and Brazil, I just tick off Select Entire Guide, and then I click the View Guide button. So now I can scroll through the entire guide for Argentina and Brazil. Scrolling through the guide, you can see some colored boxes. This is our traffic light system. For Brazil, you see a green box in the top of the guide. This tells you that there are no new regulations adopted or proposed. But for Argentina, you can see that there are actually both orange and red boxes. The orange box tells me that new regulation has been proposed, and when I scroll through the guide, the topics affected by this proposed regulation will have an orange box explaining how the proposed regulation will affect this topic. So you can see for Topic 3 that a new guide for merger notifications has been proposed. If I scroll further, I can see which other topics are affected. For instance, I can see in Topic 37 in gray that the current regulation allows you to complete the merger before approval is obtained. You just need to file a merger notification within a week after closing. However, we can see in the red box that, according to a regulation that has been adopted but not fully implemented yet, in the future approval must be obtained before closing. Naturally, this information is very important if you are planning a transaction that triggers merger filing in Argentina. Often, the completion date for the transactions that you get involved in will be some months in the future, so you need to not only be up to date on the regulations, but you also need to know about pending changes of regulations. This is why we created Merger Filers. We want to keep you more than up to date. We've also found other ways to provide a better tool than the traditional guides. Let's scroll back to Topic 3. Here you find all the relevant regulations and guidelines, and naturally we provide you with direct links to the actual regulations. In this case, they are in Spanish, but the Argentinian authorities translated the most important of these regulations. You can access the translations as well. This will save you a lot of time searching for information on your own. Okay, let's say I have a different need. I want to know the relevant thresholds for merger filing in a group of countries. Well, then I go back and select all the jurisdictions that I want to include. I choose Select All. Next step is selection of topics. Here I can go through the different headlines in the guide and find the relevant headline. We've tried to make this easy to navigate, and hopefully you'll quickly find the relevant topic here as headline number 4. So I click on this and I get a few subtopics to choose from. I can choose all of these or the specific subtopics that I'm interested in. I choose the first two subtopics and click View Guide. Now I have a long report with the chosen topics for each jurisdiction. I can, of course, just read through this on the screen, or I can click the PDF button and create a PDF report that I can print or send to a colleague by email. The content on mergerfilers.com is provided by leading national experts in each of the jurisdictions. They know the ins and outs of the local merger regulations and how their national competition authorities operate. You can easily find contact details for the experts here in the guide, in the decision database, or in the National Experts section. It's also easy to find contact details for the relevant authorities in each jurisdiction. The merger regulations are complex, and we recommend that you always involve an expert, not only to decide whether merger filing is needed, but also to handle the merger notification process efficiently. The next thing I'm going to show you is the Decision Database. This is where you can find decisions from competition authorities worldwide. Market definition is an important part of competition law, and merger filing in particular. When you complete a merger notification, it can be helpful to know how markets were defined previously in the same industry. If you're looking for a particular decision and you know the names of the parties, you can use the advanced search. You can also just make a search for a particular product or for particular types of decisions. For instance, if I want to know how remedies are usually designed in the telecom sector, I choose the decision type Approval with Conditions, and then I add telecom as business category. I can then be more specific and add broadband as a term that must be included in the decision. So now I have a list of results, and I can click on any of them and see a decision abstract provided in English by the national expert. In the bottom of each decision abstract, you can find a link to the decision if you want to study the finer details on your own. The decision database can be used by anyone as a business intelligence tool. You can use the database to find market analysis regarding your industry, and you can follow your competitors' transactions. When you use Merger Filers, we ask you to create an account. It's free. With the account, you can make sure that you get alerts on any new decisions that satisfy the specific criteria that you choose. The first step relates to updates to the Merger Filing Guide. We recommend that you choose all, but you can also choose only to get alerts on specific jurisdictions. The next step is about alerts on new decisions. Here you can choose specific jurisdictions and specify the business categories and decision types that you want alerts on. You can further refine this by extending the scope of alerts to the whole world for specific types of decisions or industries. For instance, if you want alerts on all prohibition decisions, regardless of jurisdiction. You can change your settings or cancel your account whenever you want, but we recommend that you start off by allowing all new decisions. We will not spam you all the time. We put the alerts into one weekly email. So go to the Account section here and set up an unlimited free account.